Organ harvesting by China, brother. So I you and I have been talking about this for a while. We've mentioned this as one of the part of the genocidal behavior of the Chinese government and China, and what's been going on with the Uyghurs, the Falun Gong, and the house Christians, the house churches for Christians, and pretty much anybody that stands, any political prisoner that stands against the government of China. That would include the people in Hong Kong who have been arrested and never heard from again. So you and I have been talking about the organs harvesting of political prisoners for over, for a long time. I can't remember how long we haven't been talking about it. It seems like every time I bring up China, I'm also talking about this. Now, what the problem with the background on this is, and what we're going to take this from we're going to look at this as simple. China is bad. China is wrong for what they're doing. We got that. That's what is well known. There's a number of countries out there that have been coming out against this. They've woken up since President Trump cut the path, and a number of them are saying, "Hey, we should be a part of this too." And that's a key point. That's a key point. The understanding that we stand against China and what they're doing as the America First agenda, that is clear. But what's the connection, though? Tonight we're going to talk about connection to the Democrats, specifically BLM and the socialist movement, the communist movement, the Marxist movement within our own country. So it's important for us to take that next step. Going forward, let's talk about we'll say the Freedom Road Socialist Organization. The Freedom Road Socialist Organization has been around for a long time, brother. They can date back all the way to the 60s, to the war, to the anti-war movement, and they are they have been a key player in bringing communism and the socialism movement. This is where a lot of this comes from because of these organizations. And to be clear, John, there's a whole bunch of communists, claiming to be Marxist in some form or another, organizations out there in our country today. It's not one, it's not two, it's a whole bunch, and they all have some interconnections. But I want to point out this particular group because the background of it is it leads to Liberation Road, and Liberation Road is the parent, along with this Freedom Road Socialist Organization, is the parent of BLM. Now, about given any time period in throughout the year, there is a substantial number of so-called activists. Make sure we put a / there and understand as the terrorist types of people who are going out there and burning our cities. Those people, make sure we understand that that's the same group. There's about 1,000 of them or so that are ready to go at a moment's notice to whatever location around the country to basically rip the city apart, like they did in Minneapolis, like they've done countless throughout the entire summer of love back last year. So we can expect more of this group to attack if there's any type of Chauvin-like or any reason at all. They don't really need a Chauvin. They could just come out for the smallest thing that they can turn into a larger issue. And to be clear, I'm not suggesting that people shouldn't come out about bad things. What I'm saying is you don't have a right to burn down our cities. You don't have a right to format Marxism and socialism to destroy our country, which is really the ultimate goal, John. The ultimate goal here is to rip down our country. And so I want to point this out because there's direct financial, direct physical connections between these groups and China. For example, a number of these fellows, you would call them fellows, people who travel to China and learn the Marxist ideology from the motherland, or whatever you want to call China, from the center of the universe. They go to China to learn how to foment this type of hatred, how to encourage it, how to make it continue. And they also, are taught Marxist ideology. So when you hear them talk about, I'm a trained Marxist, John, that's because just like they did in the 60s with the Soviet Union, when they would travel over there, you'd see these left wingers like Alinsky travel to Russia to learn. They would take that information back. They're doing it with China. And I want to make clear that China, John, is not our friend, because not only have they foisted a disease that's wiped out 500,000 Americans and infected, millions more, and killed 5 million people around the entire world. What we see is this country is evil because of all the things that they do, not because of one particular thing. And let's talk about one of those particular things, which would be on-demand organ transplants. How do we know? Let's dive into this about the genocidal behavior of the organ transplants, because I want to make it clear, John, that who's at fault? The people who are connected to in our country are part of the problem here. It's not just China. It's also the people over here who are following the marching orders of China. And that is the trained Marxists, places like Freedom Road and Liberation Road. Those are the trained Marxists that we need to be careful of in our country. So let's talk about the organ harvesting, because that was the main subject here. In the U.S., John, and pretty much the entire Western world, you have heart transplants that take 6 to 12 months in order for the heart to become available. And heart becomes available because somebody dies, or they have a car accident, or in some way the heart isn't injured so that it can be, and the person is willing to be a donor to somebody in need. The liver is 11 months, the kidney, 3 to 5 years. These are voluntary systems. In China, it's pretty much, we'll plan on you being able to get your heart transplant next Friday, John. Next Friday, we'll be able to plan to get that. We'll be able to get a heart transplant for whoever needs it in China next Friday. They'll schedule the appointment a week ahead, brother, a week ahead, and like they can have the ability to see into the future to determine when someone's going to have an accident that's going to be an acceptable match. So that's an impossibility. It's an impossibility. But let's talk about
on the shower. All right.
What's that?
A lot of people slip on the soap in the shower. A lot of people slip.
Yeah. Right. So I want to give this one example that was brought up, and a lot of this information comes from the Epoch Times, and I'm breaking it down for you in the simplest terms here. They have this one person. She had she needed a heart transplant. She came over from Japan. They used up 4 hearts for her, John. 4 in a 10-day period. There was 4 magically available to match with her. The first one that they got for her, the doctor looked at it and said, it's just not perfect. We're not going to use this one. It's not good enough. And so the second one, they got the second one there, and she had a fever. So there goes the transplant. Can't do the transplant. So to ensure that they had the best one and everything was going to go well, for the third attempt, they had 4 on June 25th. They had 2 hearts prepared, ready to go in the hospital, set aside for this woman so that they could do the heart transplant. So I'm not, where did the heart come from? Where did the heart come from? Because they just don't have that many people falling, in the shower. So the Chinese have been making a lot of money off of this. You can see on the screen, cornea is $30,000, kidney $60,000, a heart is $150,000, and this organ harvesting is been going on for years. These numbers go back to 2012, John. 2012. These are the numbers that they were spending. So if you look at if you compare it to what is going on in the UK, I just want to point out that China does not have a voluntary system like the donor system that we do. They don't have a means to collate that data so that, that require, in order to be on the donors list, like when you're looking for a heart, they have your blood type, They have, I mean, all the identifiers that they need to say this person or that person is a good match for the donation. So China has none of that. They have none of that prepared, and yet they're able to do it on demand. For you look at UK, which is the example they provided, 18 million registered donors. Then they have the same number of wait times that we listed. 18 million registered donors, John. It's a lot of people, and it still takes them years to get a kidney. And so China came out and said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! There's a reason why we are so able to do this. It's because our death row inmates, when we kill them, we have the heart available. We have whatever it is available to do it. The problem is, John, they do over 10,000 transplants a year,
Wow.
but they only have 8,000, maybe 8,000 death row inmates a year. So where's that 2,000 coming from, right? Just a little problem with their numbers there. But so I want to throw this out there. The real estimate, because you can't really trust China's number. You just can't, John. We know that they're lying sacks of crap. We know that they can't tell the truth. That to them a straight line is a circle. So we know that they have no idea how to tell the truth, and everything's a state secret. But so the estimates, the real estimates from the people who are in the know, estimate that the actual number of transplants are 60,000 a year. 60,000 human body transplants a year. And so these must be coming from living donors. They have them farmed out, similar to the Matrix, hooked up, or living in a way so that they can keep them alive and just being able to pull whatever organ out of them they need to. Take a kidney here, take a liver there, take a heart while you're at it. So who are these people? They're the prisoners of conscience. They're the political prisoners. They're the Falun Gong. They're the Jinping church Christians. There's the people having church in their homes and their families. They're the Christian churches in their homes, and of course the Uyghur Muslims, that are in they're trapped in concentration camps and have no choice but to be subjected to this type of torture. But who is John ultimately responsible? Because this idea that we have right now this period of who's complicit. Companies who provide transplants, medicines, supplies, and clinical trials. There's companies in America right now who are out there organizing medical trials on patients in China. Just like, and that should sound familiar, John, just like what happened in Wuhan, just like those testing for patients or testing the disease, working up stuff for COVID. They have in China where American companies are using trials on medicines and on they're providing training for doctors who are going off there. They're providing universities are funding research. This is our problem. This is our problem as well. We need to stop this, and we can stop this. But is there the will within the medical community willing to pull this aside? This is big business for China, and consequently, it's big business for the medical community over here, John. It's huge. It's huge business for the medical community over here. They're able to pull in a lot of money by 60,000 transplants a year. That's an enormous amount. And there's travel, there's tourism too. There's medical tourism going in there to get these transplant tourism, John. It's ridiculous. But yet it is still going on and is continuing to go on. And John, why couldn't there be a virus leak? And I'm stepping on the side here. Why couldn't there be a virus leak with all this evil going on in China? All this evil that we see happening there, brother. Why couldn't there be a virus leak? That's my question. And that's my bit. There's your sources on the screen for anybody who wants to check them out. You're welcome to go see my information.